Hey, it's Bren at the Homestead, and today I want to tell you how to make yogurt, or how I make yogurt. Yogurt is basically two things. You're going to need milk, and you're going to need the culture to start it from. So the milk I'm going to be using is goat's milk from my Nigerian Dwarf goat herd, which is a very creamy milk. It's very high butter fat milk, but the same process applies to cow's milk, sheep's milk, whatever milk you got. And before anybody says anything, it probably does work with almond milk, but almonds do not create milk. They don't have teats. It's almond slurry that has been marketed incorrectly as milk. Okay, calm down then. All right, back to yogurt. You're going to need milk, and I'm going to use a quart. I make small batches. I make it usually like in the evening after dinner, after I've gotten some of the dishes out of the way and that sort of thing. You're going to need milk. You're going to need your culture. Your culture can be from your last batch of yogurt. Now, obviously, if you're starting out, you don't have a last batch of yogurt. So where do you get culture? You're going to go to the store. You're going to buy plain yogurt. And I mean plain yogurt, just nothing in it. Can't be vanilla. It can't be fruity tooty. It's got to be plain yogurt, and you're going to check that for live cultures. That's the key. You want live cultures. If you can't get that, there are reliable places where you can get like freeze-dried or tablets, and you reconstitute this and it becomes the culture. So 2 ingredients, milk, culture, that's it. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to heat up your milk, and you want to heat it up to about 180 degrees. I use a double boiler, which is one pan with water, another pan that has your milk in it, and then I use a thermometer and I use a lid. You're going to heat it up to 180. Heat that milk up to 180. The reason I use a double boiler is I don't want to burn my house down, and I'm a scatterbrain, and the double boiler will save you from having the milk bubble up all of a sudden and end up all over your stove and practically set everything on fire. If you've had that happen, you know what I'm talking about. It's a real mess to clean up. So just save yourself the trouble. Just do a double boiler. It is so much easier. It is so much more forgiving, and you don't have to worry as bad as far as like if you get called away or something happens and you walk away from the stove, it's not going to bubble over. 180. If you don't have a thermometer, 180 degrees is the point where the skin forms on top of the milk. If you've ever heated up milk before and you see that skin forming, that's 180 degrees. So if you don't have a thermometer, it's not like you're out of luck. I like to, what do they call that? The KISS approach, keep it simple, stupid. I like that approach. So I'm looking for that 180. I do use a thermometer, but if I don't have the thermometer out, that's my key. Once it hits that 180, you're getting it off the heat. Now you're gonna let it cool down. Usually what I do is I remove the top pan, I put it on another burner, and just let it sit there until it gets down to 115 is what I'm shooting for. But if you go to 110, you're still okay. If you go to 125, you're still okay. Just in that lower range, you wanna be somewhere near 115. That, for some of you, you might need a thermometer. It's slightly warmer than blood warm. If you don't have a thermometer, how would I tell? I would put it on my wrist. When you're checking like baby formula and you put it on your wrist, that's usually considered blood warm, which is about 100 degrees. So it'd be a little warmer than blood warm, would be your 115. Maybe you want a thermometer at that point. They're not expensive. But once you get in the groove and you do it all the time, you'll realize where you need to be. So anyhow, once you get down to that, that's when you add culture. That's when you add honestly guys, I don't measure. I just take a spoon and I scoop out from the last one, I plop it into the new one, and I swirl it around. If you need an exact measurement, let's go with a 1/4 cup, roughly. That would probably be a good measurement. And if you buy the freeze-dried stuff, they're going to tell you how much, and you can figure out from there. Put that into your milk. Now your milk is cultured milk. Now you want to put that into however you're going to let it incubate. And I use, like I said before, the wide mouth glass canning jars. The canister I have is a specialty item that I got. You don't have to have that. You could have a cooler that you've filled with hot water. That canister, what I do, I fill that up with hot water. I fill up the jar that's inside with hot water, and right before I'm going to pour my milk, my cultured milk into it, I dump all that hot water out, so everything's still nice and warm in there. Pour my cultured milk in there, close it up, put it in that canister, close the canister up, and I put it away. I put it away overnight, and I get it out the next morning. So it's probably in there, I'm going to say like 8 to 10 hours. 8 hours maybe. I'm going to say 8 hours is probably good. Like I said, you kind of get in a rhythm of this stuff. So the next morning, you're going to open up the canister. You're going to smell this delicious yogurt. And you're going to see some bubbles on top of it. And you'll just know it. It'll smell delicious. I take it out of the canister. I switch out. That canister thing I got comes with a metal lid. I swap that out for one of my BPA plastic lids because I keep that metal lid with that whole kit for the next batch, which I do this like almost every day. So I'm kind of like in a routine with it. I'm going to say every day, maybe every other day. I'm primarily the yogurt eater around here, and I eat a lot of it. I love it. But yeah, you want to swap that out and put it in the refrigerator. Let it cool down. Cooling it down will slow down the incubation process and basically stop it from getting too sour. Now, the batch I made for this video actually went a little longer than it should have. And when it goes a little longer, it gets a little bit more sour and a little bit more lumpy, which I was a little disappointed in myself in letting it go so long. But we've had so many power outages in the last 24 hours. It's been ridiculous. We've had high winds and a tree went down in our driveway. So it's just been a real mess around here. So that kind of like held me up from doing my video. So yeah, today's did get a little lumpier than what I'd like it to be. It's usually smooth and creamy and delicious. But it's still, what came out today is still very, very good. It's a little past the point that I truly like, which I like it a little sweeter, but the sour is fine too. Toppings for it. You can top it with any of your fruits that you've canned. You can top it with just about anything, bananas, whatever you have that you eat, top it with it. The only thing I will say is if you're going to use sugar, I would suggest either maple sugar or raw organic cane sugar. And the reason I would suggest that is white sugar is nothing but sucrose. And sugar is not really good for you to begin with, but we all have our sweet tooth, and I'm right there with you. But the cool thing about the maple sugars and the raw organic cane sugars is you do get a little bit of trace minerals in them. Trace minerals are very, very, very important. Even though they're trace minerals, they are important to your system. So you want to get them. If you're going to use sugar, that's what I would use, just to get those little bit of trace minerals. And guys, I am coming up with a soil series. The trace minerals just reminded me of that. Everything starts with your soil. If your soil's not good, it doesn't feed your plants well. If it doesn't feed your plants well, it doesn't feed your livestock, your poultry well. And we eat them, we eat the plants, you know, it's a cycle. It's a cycle, whole cycle. Trace minerals are extremely important to your soil as well. And we'll go into that in the series, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be like I believe I have it written out for a 9-part series. I may combine a couple parts together. I don't know yet. I'm still working on filming it, but that is coming down the pike, and I hope you join me on that. I have a bunch of other videos planned that we're going to be doing, so hopefully you'll come along for the ride. Talk to you soon. Make it a great day, guys. Bye.